Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Monday, the 12th of May 2025. So Friday's news, crypto soars, stocks snore, rate hawks roar as trade wars tension floors. Trade policy uncertainty continued to tumble this week. That changed overnight, so I'll show you in a second. Markets lack direction ahead of US-China weekend trade talks. Well, apparently they made some progress because the futures have soared after US-China agree substantial progress on trade deal after very constructive negotiations. We're confident that the deal we struck with our Chinese partners will help us to work toward resolving that national emergency, the one that you actually created. Amazing. So yeah, the futures are up significantly overnight on this news. No economic news today, but during the week we've got quite a bit. We've got the US CPI numbers and Bailey speaking tomorrow. And Waller's going to be speaking on Wednesday, and GDP for the UK on Thursday, and then also Powell is going to be speaking as well on Wednesday at 1:40. Nothing on that's Thursday, and then on Friday we just got the prelim UOM. So that's the news for this week. So we've had the FOMC meeting minutes, non-farm payroll, so it's just the CPI ones for tomorrow, which is forecast to more or less stay the same, a slight increase there month on month. Right, let's have a look at the markets for Friday and the overnight excitement as well. So kicking off with the Dow, Friday inside bar not doing an awful lot, as the headline said, snoring, just sideways. Market gapping overnight as well. You can see this more in the 30-minute chart, quite a decent gap in these markets following this so-called good news. We're looking at average of 500-point gap there for the Dow overnight. So market currently holding, but we do have this gap, and gaps tend to get filled, as you've seen with the gold-silver ratio over the last few weeks. So may see a bit of a pullback on this during today. But on the bigger time frame, back to this, we've got the 200 MA and some resistance up here as well that needs to be taken out if the Dow is to continue moving higher. It seems to be the weaker of all of the stock markets at the moment. Let's have a look at the German DAX. Well, the German DAX continues to make insanely new multi-year highs. All-time highs, not multi-year, all-time highs at 23,744, so we're heading for 24,000. It is just absolute bonkers, but it is what it is, as I keep saying. I just don't see these markets ever coming down. They just seem to be able to provide the tools and move them higher. I mean, you can see we've now moved up nearly 5,000 points off this low, up to the all-time high that was made overnight. So continuing to move to the upside. I don't see it stop. They've got the tools. They'll do whatever they need in order to keep these markets moving to the upside. I'm sure one day it will end, but there is no sight of that happening whatsoever at this time. And again, you can see the gap there in the DAX overnight as well, just a ballpark figure to where it opened. And there you can see 172 points, ballpark, where the market actually jumped overnight. And at the moment, no sign of it coming down, still moving to the upside. But that gap may have to be filled. It may have to be filled. They generally are. So we'll wait and see at the open. We could get a bit of making this a bit of a damp squib event, saying, well, actually, the deal's not done yet. It's optimism, and that's why the markets have gone up. So keep that in mind as well. And in the S&P 500, this too managing to jump above that 89% retracement. It's got some resistance to the left there that needs to be taken out in the 200 MA in the daily. Moving up nicely there though, nice and strong. 30-minute obviously gapping. Again, beware of that gap. The market might be trying to suck in a lot of people to the upside on the open and then bring the market back to fill this gap. Meanwhile, in the FT 100, we'll just move that over. Not so much a gap in this one as staying sideways. 30-minute chart there, small gap as you can see there. It's very small compared to the rest. Price is sideways there at the moment and just coming off the 200 MA and trying to get back through Friday's high there. And US dollar, I thought this would have actually moved higher on this news, but it hasn't. It's still higher than it was on Friday, but not as big as bar that I would have expected. I thought it would have driven quite sharply to the upside, but it hasn't done so. That's not reflected in the metals though, because certainly gold being slammed overnight. So let's take a look. So let's start off with gold. You can see this is down. If you look at the 30-minute chart, you can see how much it is down. Again, the gap there. Not too worried about gold because it'll find support sitting on the low there and make its way back. It's just consolidating at the moment because of the massive move that it made recently. So it'll need to just consolidate for a while before then making its next move to the upside there. Meanwhile, in silver, holding quite nicely, stuck in a sideways range, and we didn't get a smackdown Friday either, the first one in 4 weeks. Market held quite nicely, which you can see in the 30-minute chart, and the usual nonsense at lunchtime, and then the buying came back in to support the market, and prices then moving back to Friday's high on the overnight there. So let's have a look at the gold-silver ratio, and as I mentioned earlier about filling gaps when we saw this drop a few weeks ago, I said we need to fill the gap. We filled the gap on Thursday or Friday last week, and now we're moving back down. We are at support here, so we could see silver struggle a bit at this 99 level and get the gold-silver ratio back above 100. If not, then we could head down towards the 98 level there. Right, let's have a quick look at Friday's trades. And in the pre-market, prices were just sideways. We then kicked off with the cash market with the signal. There you can see the market filling this and then heading up through the highs. As you'd expect, that's what they want to keep doing with these markets, is taking out the previous day's highs at the moment. Prices then came back, and we had a potential sell signal there, which wasn't filled. Just bring that back a bit for you. And then we had a buy signal where the market once again filled and back above the high, this time trying to get towards that R1 level, just short of it. And then prices back down to the high, where normally you wouldn't want a sell signal because obviously the market likes to move off the high and the 50 EMA, and it tried to, and then moved down a bit more there, down to the BRN and towards the 200 MA, which again, no surprise there at all. Prices then reversed, moved back to the upside, waiting for the news. Nothing much happened, and then we head into the mid-morning and lunch. This news came out of nowhere, no idea what it was. It was probably something to do with Ukraine, Russia, and then the markets moving back above the 200 MA and heading back to the upside. And note again, staying above the high from Thursday, keeping these markets pressing and moving to the upside. Short-term sell there as we came down to the 200 MA and high, and then tried to move back to the upside. Another profit there. The same on the long, then the market reversed. Again, not the ideal place for a short, but the market breaking through and then finding buyers at the high there as well. So prices then continuing to find that support, trying to stay above the high, and that one you'll see there eventually moving down to the high once more before finding support and moving back to the upside, and then into the early evening and then all the way through until the US closes at 9 p.m. So let's have a look where we are regarding the 2-minute chart and the overnight news. So we'll see there that we just come back. I'll just drag it over a bit. You'll see that prices are in a bit of a range at the moment. So we've got that huge gap, which I'll just find for you. So there you can see the gap that we've got, and then currently if we just reset the chart and then compress it so you can see where we are, we're already above the high. In fact, let's just have a look and see how far above the high we actually are. So from there up to there, we're already 149 points high above the high there. If the market does drop, watch the high, the R1 and the R2. All of the averages are in alignment at the moment, which means that the 5's above the 20, the 20's above the 50, and the 50 is above the 200 now as well. So we're quite bullish there. But do watch out for this euphoria to soon dissipate, even on a temporary basis, if more of the information comes out about the US-China trade deal there. Right, that's it for this one. Let's see what happens today and if the market does correct. Other than that, have a great day. And as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.